Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 3 of Happy Birthday ADA. I am here today with HR Manager Charlene Holder. She is our HR Manager in the Department of Human Resources and Civil Service, as well as the ADA Coordinator. So she's going to be talking us today about the Americans with Disabilities Act and reasonable accommodations. This is the episode that we talked about in the first two to really get to what is a reasonable accommodation and how are we here to help our employees. Charlene has been with the city for 30 years and has lots of experience in the HR department, so we are very excited to welcome her to episode 3 of Happy Birthday ADA. Thanks for being with us, Char.
Of course, I wouldn't have it any other way. I've enjoyed 30 years, but I've only been doing ADA for the past maybe year, 8 months to a year. So it's a new process for me also. Thank you for welcoming me.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Can you tell us a little bit about what are reasonable accommodations? What is the whole accommodation thing about?
Okay, so reasonable accommodations, they usually come about when an employee needs an adjustment to the way that they are actually doing their job. They cannot perform their job as normal. We want to provide employees with a way of staying at work while they're in the process of healing, if it's possible. So we do try to make accommodations for whatever ailment someone may have, or I should say, different ability that they may have. Even if it's not a medical condition, there are those who don't have medical conditions that do have medical conditions that we can't see, but also need to be accommodated.
So those are some of those invisible disabilities that we talk about. So if someone has an invisible disability, for instance, depression or fibromyalgia or something like that, are they still eligible for accommodations?
Yes, they are. Yes. We just ask that they submit something from their doctors so we can understand their different ability, and then that way we can schedule or find a way to help them be able to come to work during that process.
Okay, great. So would you say the first step really is for them to talk to their doctor?
Most definitely. That helps things go a lot smoother if they approach their doctor, and most doctors can sit down and with their patients and say, yes, you can be accommodated in the workplace. You can tell them what your position actually is and what you do for that job, and then they would be able to say, okay, well, these are the things that you won't be able to do, or these are the things that you will be able to do without hurting yourself further. So speak to your doctor, have the paperwork filled out, and we go from there.
Absolutely. So when we're thinking about reasonable accommodations, you mentioned a couple of times that we're really trying to make sure that our employees can do their job to the best of their ability, no matter what their abilities are. So what are some examples of accommodations that we can make?
So far, we've made accommodations such as ergonomic desk chairs, ergonomic workstations, the stand-up, sit-down workstations, the keyboards. We have working from home. That's a big option for those who have gastrointestinal problems. Work from home a few days a week. We have headsets available for those in the 311 center. So it can be a variation of things. It all depends on what it is your disability is.
Absolutely. I obviously admit that I also work in the Department of Human Resources and Civil Service, so I have a little insider knowledge. But I do like to point out as well that it's not just employees. We have accommodations for our applicants as well. So everything from If you come up to the fourth floor when we're not in the middle of a pandemic, we have the computers to help people apply. We make accommodations for our testing, for our civil service testing. So it seems like the city really does try to make sure that we're going above and beyond and reaching to all abilities. Has that been your
Yes,
experience?
most definitely. We have had to acquire the equipment. We've had to even bring in people from other companies to help us learn how to manage that equipment, how to use it properly. We've had a person in our department that we had to purchase equipment for, like the headset that would speak. He would speak into the headset, and then it would type for him, or vice versa, if just in case you couldn't understand them. So we have gone above and beyond to make sure that we are um, accessible in every way, between employees and bringing in the outside in to help those who need it when they are testing.
Absolutely. And that's a great point as well. I remember last summer we actually had an intern who had differing abilities that I was actually able to just ask him, what would make your job easier? What would help? And some of the things that he asked for weren't those expensive, um, different
Yes.
things that we would have to buy or the programs or anything like that. It could be as simple as writing things down for him. So with that in mind, when we're thinking about accommodations, does it have to be something really formal, or can it be something that the department can just do to help their employee?
It definitely can be something that the department can help the current employee. We also have a program where benefits, if you go through benefits, there's a person that works with our benefits section, and they'll come in and say exactly what you need, how the city can help that person better do their job. They'll come in and say, oh no, well, this desk isn't high enough for them. This chair will not accommodate their back injury, or whatever is needed. That person, we have a person who can come in and assess the situation to get the equipment that's needed, so they don't have to always come through HR, the actual ADA section. They can also submit that request through their department, and we can get started on it right away.
Yeah, so a lot of different options.
Definitely.
Okay, great. And with all of this information, there are so many accommodations it sounds like we can make, but we throw around the word reasonable a lot. So we say reasonable accommodations. What does that mean, or what are some examples of non-reasonable accommodations?
Reasonable would more or less be things that you can easily grasp. Um, Unreasonable accommodations mostly boil down to money and the cost of the equipment that it would take to bring in such a piece of equipment for that person. Um, so not only purchasing that expensive equipment, because sometimes you're the only person that could use that piece of equipment. So that would be like a major burden for the city to spend all that kind of money on. Um, some other unreasonable accommodations would be like asking to work part time when you're really a full time position. We can't split up, you know, go hire another person to take the rest of your position. We can't take the essential duties of your job and give them to someone else, and you just, do whatever's easiest for you, because then that puts a burden on the other person who we're dishing out the extra work to. Um, what else are there? Yeah, it just all depends on cost, and is it really feasible for that employer to do?
Right. So maybe something like a $5 million technology that only one person will use would not be a reasonable request.
Definitely not. Definitely.
Right.
Even if it's 5,000, you could think of it like that, because you're only one person, and who knows when someone else will come along that could also use that piece of equipment. So you just have to be mindful of the budget and what you're asking. So most people realize some requests are unreasonable. So, we just try to make sure that they understand there's a limit to what we can do. We may be city government. You may think the purse strings are, just outrageous. There's no limit to there, but there's always a limit when it comes to money.
Absolutely. I see that a lot with outside groups that will hear City of Pittsburgh and they think, oh, unlimited resources, and that's
right.
not it.
It's not true.
I also,
yeah.
when you were giving us those examples, you brought up essential job functions. And that's something we talk about a lot, especially in our harassment training. We talk about understanding that you have to be able to perform your essential job functions. What is an essential job function?
I would describe them as functions that are essential to the position, meaning the position was created specifically for that task. So there's no way around that job without being able to do those functions.
Okay, absolutely. I always recommend with harassment training as well that if someone's not sure what their essential job functions are, they reach out to their HR business partner, because as HRCS, we can always help someone understand what those requirements are. If they had wanted to go part-time for a full-time job, we can walk them through why that might not be possible. Reach out to you and the business partner.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a great, great answer, because without them going to their HR business partner, they may think that certain functions are non-essential when they are essential only because they want them to be, but we will help you understand.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And also important for our departments to remember to work with HR and work with their business partners to get the best job postings possible.
Correct. Correct.
Great. Well, that's a lot of great information. What do you think are some common misconceptions that people might have about requesting accommodations or about asking for accommodations?
I think it's more that they believe that they have to have a medical diagnosis that can be seen in order to request an ADA accommodation, but that, as we all know, everything about your body cannot be seen. Everything cannot be taken care of just from the outside. And so if you have, if you have a problem, you have a medical condition that we cannot see, that we can't tell is there, just be forthright and talk to your supervisor and, come see how we can help you.
Great. Speaking of that, what is the best process if you think that you need something, if you are ready to request an accommodation, what steps should our employees go through?
So if you believe you need an accommodation, if it's something that is already seen, such as, you're walking with canes, we understand that you'll need some form of accommodation, like as far as the getting through doorways, whatever it may be. If it's something that can be solved with your immediate supervisor, I would say speak to them first. And if it's not something that you believe can be solved through them, then just contact HR. My name and number is out there for all to know. And, even if you don't want to contact me directly, you can go on the website, grab the paperwork, have your doctor fill it out, and we can always tell you if this is something that needs an accommodation or not. And it just makes things go faster if, you realize you can't do your position, your job to your best of your ability because you're having some type of medical condition. Then just, don't be too proud. Talk to your doctor, talk to HR, and we'll get the paperwork rolling.
That's great. And definitely a lot of ways to get a hold of you, so they can contact you directly, or they can contact just the Department of Human Resources and Civil Service. We'll find a way to get them to you. We can contact City U. I think I put my email everywhere.
Correct.
And I can get them to you, or again, their HR business partner can help them as well. Some people know them a little bit better, but all lines that will go back to you, Shar. Easy.
Correct. Thanks a lot, Natasha.
You're welcome. I think I also disclose in a lot of trainings that when I started with the city, I was an HR business partner. So I think, Shar,
Mm-hmm.
the current business partners get the bulk of my, go talk to them. But you guys are the best course of action. So we can.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely. So I think that is all the questions that I have for you. Is there anything else that our employees should know? Anything about accommodations specifically that you think should be out there?
I just want them to feel comfortable enough to come to HR. There's no problem too big, no problem too small. We're here to help. We're always willing to help. So, if you find yourself in a bind and you cannot do the essential functions of your job, don't hesitate to contact us. We are there. It's our job to help you.
Yes, we definitely love to help our employees. And along those lines, these conversations are confidential. Is that correct?
Strictly confidential. That's why I said if you don't want to go to your supervisor, you don't have to. You can come straight to us. And then, you don't have to disclose all the details to your supervisor. And we don't disclose any details to your supervisor. We would just tell them this is the accommodation that we are putting in place, and they get no medical information from us whatsoever. We just tell them what they need to know, and that is all. So everything is strictly confidential.
Okay, great. So everyone should always feel comfortable. If they're not sure what they're doing, stop by HR. We can help them out and let them know what their best course of action would be.
Correct.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. I am very excited this was the highly anticipated third episode on reasonable accommodation. So thank you for all of the information. If you wouldn't mind, we've been signing off all of our episodes by wishing the ADA a happy birthday. So please join me in saying happy birthday, ADA.
Happy birthday, ADA.
All right. Thank you so
Many
much.
more.
And we will see our employees next week when we talk about being an equal opportunity employer. So thanks so much. Have a great day.